However, Fleming cancelled the agreement after Payne reportedly attempted to claim the rights to the other Bond novels as well. Eon Productions had initially shelved Moonraker as a potential sequel to On Her Majesty's
Full screen. Hello. 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 Can you hear me? Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone. Hello. Hello. I don't know. These shows, they just start. Okay. So welcome to Lewis Schaffer Uncooked. Lewis Schaffer Uncooked. Thank you, people, for coming back. Thank you for the regulars. Hold on. Okay. Okay. So I'm a bit tired. I'm a bit tired. Maybe I should have combed my hair. I didn't comb my hair. I used to have to not have to comb my. I used to comb my hair in the morning, and then because I washed my hair, it used to be like fixed in place, and then it stayed in place all day unless I wore a hat, and then my hair was ruined, and I had to wash my hair all over again. I washed my hair every single day for maybe 40 years of my life. Okay. So thank you for coming back. Yesterday's show was amazing. We had a really nice show. I think it was. I mean, I don't know whether you thought it was nice, but it was nice seeing Jonathan Cogan. It's nice when people are nice to me. It really is. It's nice to be nice. Box Hill Viewpoint, great area for walking. Says enjoying the tube. Okay, we can discuss that. Thank you. I do look amazing. You know what happened yesterday? I don't know whether I told you that I went out and I had some Chinese food in a box in Peckham, and it wasn't that much money, I guess. I mean, you know what's shocking? What shocking is it wasn't a lot of money, but because of the way inflation is now, which we blame the Tory and the Labor scum for the inflation, because they didn't have to spend all that stupid money giving Michelle Bone, or whatever his name is, Michelle Moan, money during the COVID times, but they did. They spent all the money, and I said, I had a friend of mine. He was like really angry at me because I said to him, this is how inflation is. You print money and it causes inflation. And he was a believer. I'm not going to say what it was. I'm not going to say. But he said, no, it doesn't cause inflation. He's from the magic money tree, and it causes inflation. So I went and had Chinese food. I had a bowl of Chinese food, which had a huge amount for me. Any amount is huge of noodles, which are like death. Chinese noodles, death. And then I had some chicken, sweet and sour chicken, which you don't know how many carbs it has. I'm not saying who it is, Kermit. And then I had some, the sauces, the Chinese food sauces. There's a million different elements in Chinese food. They add MSG, they add sugar, they add salt, they add tons and tons of stuff into that stuff. Don't ask me how I know. Thank you. Claire likes a bad boy. I was a bad boy. So I went home. And on the way home, so I had 2 plums on the way home. So I made it even worse. Singapore chow mein, Ruben says. Yeah, the problem with Chinese food, it's delicious. It's Moorish. And it can be okay for you if you balance it. But I can't control myself. So I'm telling you people to control yourself. And I can't control myself. And I came home and I thought to myself, it's going to be a bad day tomorrow. It's going to be a bad day. I'm going to gain a kilo from this one meal, because every gram of let me turn my light on back here. Can I turn this on? Is that right? Is that good, that light? Should it be there? Maybe it should be higher up. What do you think? What about over here? Whoops. What about this goes over here like that? The light's a bit bright. I can't help it. It doesn't look bright here, but it looks bright in the thing. So I said I'm going to wake up to today, and I'm going to be fat today. So I came home and I didn't eat anything at home. I didn't even have any cheese. I didn't have anything. Normally I have a little bit to eat because I'm a foodaholic, as we all are. As we all are. So I woke up expecting to be fat. I didn't even weigh myself last night. I did not weigh myself last night. And I woke up and I actually had lost 400 grams. So I'm now 77 point, I was this morning, 77.1 grams. And so that's really good. That's like good. That's like almost 76 point something. You don't know. It could be 200 either way, but it's lower than I thought it was going to be. So it's a victory. Maybe I shouldn't be. I ate 2 plums. They weren't even good plums. This is the end of the plum season right now. It's the end of the plum season. Now I think we're entering the persimmons. I'm going to be eating persimmons, or as you call it, Sharon fruit. The bed in basin 1. What happened? What happened in Join Tube? Were you sick or something? Did you sick? So that's what I'm saying to all of us. Let's focus on losing weight and being thin. Can I show you how thin I am? Can you see this? Can you see this? This is what you're going to get. Can you see? I don't know whether you can see that. I mean, we've got a little bit of something over here, but it's not that much. But then this is like flat. This is like, there's no like stomach here. Can you see that? It's a little bit of something. I'd like to lose 2 pounds. I'd like to lose 2 pounds. And Claire is helping me. Thank you, Claire. I'd like to lose 2 pounds. I think we could all lose, or 2 kilograms. Just a little bit. I mean, the problem is we reach a certain age, and like my face is falling apart. You just don't look good. I'm sorry, I don't look good. But maybe girls, do you care? Do you want a guy who's got like a young man? Maybe I should have surgery. How about that? How does that look? So that's the main thing. Buy an Oreo ice cream. That'll lose you 2 pounds. That's very funny. That's very, very funny, Kermit. It'll lose me 2 pounds, exactly. In this, where I live, it's between 2 pounds 20 and 2 pounds 60. I was in a shop the other day. It was like they wanted, I don't remember how much they wanted, but it was too much, and I didn't buy it. I felt really good about myself. But I mean, the thing about it is it's so delicious. It's ice cream. It's vanilla-ish ice cream, plus it's Oreo. It's not even an Oreo cookie, because an Oreo cookie is very crumbly. It's a different kind, but it tastes like an Oreo cookie. That's a trim physique for a 70-year-old, Ruben. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's so important that we look good. I mean, that we be healthy, because we're at war right now. We are at war. Mandami won. And people are like, they're so excited that Mandami won. How do you elect the mayor of the largest city, a foreigner, somebody who isn't even an American? Because let me tell you something about being an American. It's like you know what? You don't want people in a country who hate the country that they're in. That's what you call an invader. You want someone who loves the country. If and maybe like the head of the Tory party, Kemi, maybe she loves this country, but you got to make sure she loves the country. Mandami does not love the country, because America is not a communist country. And I'm going to tell you something right now, everybody. I'm against communism. I'm against it so much. I'm against everything about it. I think I don't even know what you people believe. What do you believe? Of course you can't. Don't tell me you're in favor of communism. Don't tell me. I do not want to know. I don't want to know. Are you in favor of it? Are you against it? What is communism? Communism is being a victim, is having somebody take care of you, but you got to follow their rules, and we're helping you. It's like what Mandami said. Did you hear what he said? he said there's no problem too big that the government cannot help, cannot cure. I think he said that. I don't know if he said that. But I think that's what he said. Did you hear what he said? Hello, Joe Sanders. Anyway, Joodles is here. No politician here loves the country. They're all globalists. Yes, that's true. And globalists are left-wingers because they don't believe in the nation state. They don't believe in families taking care of themselves or cities or towns. And I'd say that's what makes America the greatest country in the world, is that there are 50 states and they're all battling each other. I'm not saying America's the greatest country in the world because Britain is a great country. Britain created America. So I'm not saying that. I'm not arrogant to believe that. But the thing about America is that if you don't like doing business in New York, you move to New Jersey. If you don't like New Jersey, you move to Texas. You don't like Texas, you can move to Tennessee. You can move and you're still in the country with the same rules. In this country, you can't get a deal. There's no special deal. Let's say you want to put your factory. Let's say your factory is in London and you want to move. What could Lincoln do or Eastbourne do? What could these places do? They can't do anything. Immigration built New York. Yeah, it's already built. That doesn't mean immigrants should take over and build your own New York. That's exactly true. It's the same thing with this country. This country is built and all these people are coming in here and we are giving it to them. You're giving it to them. I have to be more loving. People always ask me in America, they ask me, what the hell is going on in Britain? What the hell is going on? Why is it going on? That's what they want to know. Why is it going on? Why are they letting millions of people who hate this country, who hate the religion of this country, who hate it? If you don't like being the mayor of New Delhi, you can move to New York and be the mayor there, Kermit says. Yes, that's basically what the people are saying. Because there's the thing about New York is right now, from what I can tell, is there lots of people who come to New York expecting an amazing life. It's kind of like London. Not really. It's different. It's like, because it's New York. It's New York. It sounds amazing. New York starts spreading the news and people move here. Think about New York. They move to New York and they think, oh my God, this place is so expensive. Because you got people all throughout America moving here. Luigi, I mean, if you could make it there, you could make it anywhere. Yeah. So they move to New York, and they think it's super expensive. Well, do you think I need? Do you think I need this filled in? Do you see the mark there? Do you see the thing? Do you see this right here? Do you see that? Maybe I have, what do you call that? Botox. I don't think Botox is good for you, probably. Anyway, and they start complaining about New York because it's so expensive. Well, what do you expect? Move someplace else. Start spreading the news. So they, and they're all these young kids who are all Mr. Mandami, and they're all idealistic, because I was a communist back then. I used to believe in all that stuff. I almost voted, whatever the party was called, one of the communist parties. But, you don't know. And then actually pretty damn quickly, I realized I was a libertarian. I didn't like that stuff. Lewis, you're perfect. Don't have Botox or fillers. You don't think that looks a bit weird? Does that look a bit weird? See, since I lost weight, can you see this thing happening here? Can you see this? Can you see that? This thing here. Can you see that? I mean, I don't have many lines. Can you see the lines? I don't have like lots of those things, but I do have. I'm old. But I don't need somebody who's young to like me. I need someone who's perfect age for me, between the ages of 40 3 and 99 and 99. Yeah. Ruben said he'd call a plasterer. Thank you for defending me, Joe Sanders, by calling Ruben rude. He's rude. So that's what New York is all about. New York is all about, it's filled, because there's no other, there are cities in America, but once upon a time, there were lots of other cities that had a future. And New York, at this time, from what I can tell, and I have not been, it was a couple of years ago, but I haven't been living there, but it seems like it's the only city in America. It's basically won the city wars. Like, you know how London has won the city war? There's no other city like London in Britain. And that's one of the reasons why Britain is not as great as it should be, because it only has London. Yeah. The city that never sleeps, and now they're all woke. Yes. Well, at least 50% of the people are all woke. Anyway, so New York, there used to be places in America you could move to that weren't as big as New York, but they had rich people, super rich people living there that were doing super things. You wanted cars, you went to Detroit. You wanted space stuff, you went to Houston. You wanted movies and lots of other stuff, you go to LA. And now LA, who could move to LA? It's so scary. Khan wants London to be independent, to be able to do what he wants and rejoin the EU. Of course they do. Of course they do. Well, same thing with New York now, you know. That's what they do. Of course Khan wants that. He wants more power, you know. I mean, that's always the way it is. There's always going to be something, well, we, you know. In New York, they used to call it the 51st state because it wasn't part of New York State. And it was a separate gestalt. Is that the right word? And then Lee G says Birmingham is. Yeah, I read that today. Is 50% Islam. 50% Islam. Congratulations, Birmingham. You do know. Congratulations, Britain, that you've got areas of this country that do not exist. And yet they continue to say the country's only 3% Islam or Muslim. 3%. How could it be 3% when the second largest city in the country, Birmingham, is half Muslim? Is half. And the kids are all Muslim because we've stopped having kids. I had my recently communized ex tell me today that the footage of last night in Bruno was staged. Footage of what happened last night in Bruno. Did I miss this? Jules? Please explain that in Brum. So what happened there? Was there some kind of riots or revolution going on? You know, it said I liked Birmingham a lot. It was like a real city. There are very few real cities in this country. Leeds is another one that struck me as kind of like a real type city. IMSG says what did you say? I missed that. The Islamists are out tonight in Birmingham. Is that okay? Well, there you go. Yeah. And then what happens is it means it's all downhill, because why would you move to a city that's 70% Islam? Why would you move there? Oh, I see. Tel Aviv, yes. Yeah, the Jews are up there. Yeah. Riots in the middle of the night because of the Aston Villa playing Tel Aviv tonight. I use MSG in cooking. It makes the food taste better. It's the sodium and the glutamate. It's not healthy. Maybe it's not bad. It's, it just makes you want to eat more. It's like salt and sugar, which is why the Chinese people put it in there. Yeah. That is really, really tragic. Really tragic. Maybe we need to talk about that. Of how do we live? How do we live in a world that's constantly changing? How can I be sure that you still love me? What is the song? How can I be sure in a world that's constantly changing? I think either way, either he's a Muslim and I'm against it, or he's a communist and I'm against it, or he's a foreigner and I'm against it. I don't think you should let me run for office in this country. You have to let people who were born in this country decide the country. You have to. Is that a David Cassidy song, Joe Sanders? How can I be sure? Who sings that song? Let me check who sings that song. My memory is so bad. Does it seem like my memory is so bad? How can I be sure? The Young Rascals, the Young Rascals, the Young Rascals. That's right. They were a New York, Long Island band. Felix Cavallari and those guys. And that's exactly right. I've looked this up. I wish on my Wikipedia thing it would say how many times I've looked this up. Because I've looked this up so many times. How can I be sure? It's written by Eddie Brigatti and Felix Cavallari. The Young Rascals, groovin'. They were so big when I was a kid, and they came from Long Island. But they weren't the Long Islands like us. They were they were Italian, whatever they were, Christian Long Islands, working class Long Island. Now it's probably all changed out there. Years ago, everyone was worried about the E numbers. Now we haven't got a clue what goes into any of our food or water, Darklands. We do have a clue. I tell you what you shouldn't eat. You shouldn't eat anything that has E numbers in it. You shouldn't eat anything that needs an E number, which is plants. Although I ate noodles. Look what I ate last night. Noodles. Long Island, IT. Long Island it. Long Island what? What does IT mean? It's like Long Island. Long Island was like sort of like Essex. The street that I grew up in was Essex Road in Great Neck, Long Island, New York. That's because big foods bought the government. Yes, they own the government. That a case could be made. Janet says, ice cream. Yes. I mean, yeah, lots of those stuff. I don't eat very much processed food. And I don't think you guys should eat processed food. But when I do, like yesterday, I had breakfast of steak and eggs. And then I go out and I had a huge bowl of this kind of horrible Chinesey, fake Chinesey. What kind of food is that? Can you hear me, everybody? Can you see me? 1.3 million Jews, STI. What does that mean? What does it, where is it 1 point in the New York area? Like it, Kermit. What are you saying here? What is Kermit saying? Long Island IT. What does that mean, Long Island IT? Thank you, Maltese Phil. How are you doing? Malta. We have to think about Malta all the time. Every time I see you, I think, let's go to Malta. Let's go to Malta. I've got to get my life in order here. Maybe I should. Could I have a house sale and invite everybody to come around my house and sell my stuff to you people, to the people. Long Island watches. What is a Long Island Italian or iced tea? You decide. I mean, I tell you, I used to love Long Island iced tea. Iced tea had 5 shots of alcohol in it. It wasn't that much money. God bless America. You can get drunk in America, which is why people could get laid, because you didn't have to. Well, here, the girls buy their own drinks. But in America, you could buy a girl a Long Island iced tea. That's a lot of alcohol. A lot of alcohol on Long Island. Remember how big Long Island is. It's about 110 miles, which is probably the distance across Britain. And it's got about 2, 3. Remember, part of it is Brooklyn and Queens. And they don't call themselves Long Islanders, even though they're on Long Island. They're on Long Island. Nassau County is Long Island, and Suffolk County is Long Island. Put me down for vapes picked up off the pavement. Thanks. Yeah. Here's a vape. I mean, I don't breathe it in too badly. And that's the only time I have it is when I'm here. We have a useless mayor, and the same now for New York. The problem is our mayor here is not useless. He's not fighting for white people in this country, in this city. You know what I mean? He's not making the city any better, and he's really short and ugly. I saw him walking down the street right after he got elected. He's got an attitude. He's the mayor. He's got an attitude. I've got a decent one, Janet. I feel sorry for Londoners. Yeah. Dan Wooten is very angry with GB News. Why is he angry, Ron Smith? Why is Dan Wooten angry at Michelle Dewsbury? Maybe you can help me. Yeah, even Claire wants to know, why is Dan Wooten angry? Why is Dan Wooten angry? Who, Joodles? For Londoners, I don't know. Ron, can you answer the question? Why is he angry? Where's Alan Williams? He knows everything about Dubes. She's a pretty girl. She's a lovely girl. She's got a nice husband. She accused him of lying. Oh, I see. Well, that's what's happening with GB News. They're fighting amongst themselves. They've been, they've got Ofcom. They got the BBC. Did you hear what the BBC did? They punished some woman because she said a pregnant woman instead of reading the text that said a pregnant person. Did you see that? Oh, 20th, 59 pounds return on Ryanair. That's so cheap if I had the money. That's a good idea. Yeah. Well, what's the weather there? I'm actually in February. I'm doing my first comedy gig. I'm back at Comedy Unleashed. I got a call from Andrew Doyle. Well, out of the blue. But why did I get a call for Andrew Doyle? Because maybe beautiful Jonathan Cogan spoke to Andrew, and Andrew said, come and do the show. It's easy to forget about people in this world. Dan Wooten is always angry. He's very tabloid. Yeah, he's a gay guy. He's a gay guy. Gay guys are angry. I'm angry. I'm 17% gay, and it's all anger. Do I seem like I'm angry? I'm angry. I shouldn't be that angry, but I'm angry. They got mad at me because on Twitter, did you see the thing on Twitter? Because I said I don't believe in COVID, not in COVID, in the flu, with quotation marks, the flu. And then it showed me 6 months earlier saying I'm getting over the flu without quotation marks. I believe people can get sick. I just don't believe it's germ-based sickness. Okay. You're way more than 17% angry. Yeah, so maybe I'm way more than 17% gay. Possibly. I mean, I got no issues with guys. That's the thing. That's what you need. Women are scary and dangerous. They're scary and dangerous, and that's what's fun about them. And it's like a dog. You touch them in the wrong place, and they might bite your hand. That's the thing about women. That's what I like about women. That's what I like. So I don't have it. I will come and see your gig, Lewis. Backstage pass, please. Okay. I don't know. Did you mean that as a joke? But it's very funny. GB News person attacked Dan Wooten. Camera person outside the court, Tommy Robinson, apparently. Yeah, well, that's the problem. The problem is, GB News wants to be mainstream. It wants to survive. Forget about being mainstream. But it wants to survive. Don't we all want to survive? We all want to survive, Darkland says. Yeah. Well, we have speculated about what? About my 17%? Anyway, Joe Sanders, here's what she says, pulled up over changing the word people to women regarding those who have babies. What's happening? The BBC is scum. I know you love it. They're lying globalists. They're stealing your money. They're stealing your money to brainwash the world. Okay? That's what I think. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Should I not say that? I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. What's that got to do with Dubes, Parkland? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I don't like Dan Wooten. Yeah, well, I used to work with him. I used to, I'm not going to say anything because he's on our team, at least right now. He's on our team right now. Mr. Beginnings, are you gigging? I am gigging, yes. And I think I'll tell you what day. It's in February. I'll tell you what day it's closer. It's at Comedy Unleashed in February. It's a Tuesday, maybe the second Tuesday, possibly. Tommy was stood right behind the GB newsman, yet they didn't interview him, says Ron Smith, despite being there to report on him. FF's sake. Well, why didn't Tommy? I saw that. Why didn't Tommy walk forward? Why didn't? Here's the point. The point is we don't need another mainstream media. We have alternate sources. You're getting the news from Lewis Schaffer. Is it all the news? No. Is it, can you quote me? Is there any film? No. Anyway. So I saw that. Tommy was right there. Why didn't they interview Tommy? Why would, he was acquitted. But you can't rely on the court system here to save you. They've been at this for years. Someone leaked a 19-page memo today from Lord Grade, who's the head of Ofcom, telling the BBC to sort themselves out. Do you believe that either? Sort themselves out. Why should Ofcom tell the BBC anything? Why should there be a BBC? No BBC, the state, the government should not own the propaganda service. Who disagrees with me on this? The BBC, they want to be like the BBC, the GB News wants to be like the BBC. They want to survive. And then they think, once we survive, we can do what we want to do. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they just want, they just see where the money is. I don't know. If it's a Tuesday in February, it's not my birthday then. Oh, well, happy birthday to beautiful, beautiful Joodles. They pretend to be the People's Channel. I mean, what do I pretend to be that I'm not following through on? We need the truth, says Joy and Tube. Yeah, you need the truth. You need the truth. Wow, I'm nearly speechless every day at the moment, which is unheard of. Yes, speechless, because it's like you get penalized if you say pregnant woman. The whole point of being a woman is to be pregnant. Not to be pregnant, but that's what makes a woman, that you could be or you decide not to be, whatever. You've got the equipment to be pregnant, you decide not to, whatever it is. Well, I believe it because it was leaked and I read it. And what did it say, Joodles? Tell us what it said. Joodles is going to tell us what it said. Please tell us. People should stop paying the license. I don't pay. I don't pay either. Stop paying the license. Am I allowed to say that? Is it my business? I shouldn't say that it's my business. Communist Hungary pretended to be the People's Republic. Yeah, that's what they pretend to be. That's how they lie. That's how they lie. People walk down the streets. They say, I work for the BBC. They're liars. They don't work for the people. They don't work for the people. It's owned by the government, being paid for by you and me. We need Tommy Robinson, says Dame Claire says. So much I know now because of him for 15 years. Yes. I mean, he's also, I shouldn't be saying this, he's also a liar by telling people that he's a journalist. He's not a journalist. I'm a journalist. This is journalism. No, he's not. I've lost my lips. I used to have lips. He's not a journalist. He's a revolutionary, a radical, a loyalist, whatever he is, but he's not a journalist. Was I Hungary post 1993? Oh, you were in Hungary. You were in Hungary post 1993. Yeah, and the people do. You can only lie so much. When the people, whatever it is, Okay. She was meant to say pregnant people, ignored the auto cue and said pregnant women, and is now in trouble. Sorry to go on. I just feel sick about how everything is going this way, Joe Sanders. I'm with you. We're going to have to say a prayer for this country. We're going to have to say a prayer. They keep widening the goalposts for the license fee. Soon they'll be saying you have to pay for it if you ever walked past a Rumbelows or seen a TV in a doctor's waiting office, Kermit says. Yes, that's true. Because they say we need it for the money. We got to have the money, and no one's paying it for the money. You know, or even worse, they'll just make it they'll just raise your taxes, and then they'll take it from the government to make sure that everybody is paying for it. At least here, you've got a way to say, I'm not going to pay for it. But what happens when the government puts it in their budget and says we're paying £5 billion a year to the BBC? And women, this is what Ron Smith says. I know this to be a fact. Women get done for no TV license more than men. Have a guess why? Well, why do you think it is? Because women are not fighters the way men are. They can be. You can be, but a lot of women are not fighters. Where did you last see your lips? And can we start looking there? I don't know. Does it look like... I used to have lips. Who's going to want to kiss me? Who's going to want to kiss an old guy? Ugh. Ugh. Anyway, so Lee G says a journalist equals someone who writes about events of the day. No reason it can't be political. Usually is. Tommy Robinson is upfront but he is a journalist. He is not a journalist. He's not writing about the events of the day from an objective standpoint. He's writing about it from a political angle. Lots of these newspapers, whatever, quote unquote journalists, they say, oh, we're in the middle, but they're not. It's like in America, 97% of them are Democrats. They're not journalists. So I disagree with you, Lee G. They're not. He's not a journalist. He's a reporter of news, but is he reporting on every news? Is he asking let's get both sides of the story? No, he's not. They have gone totally radio rental. What does that mean? What does radio rent? That's where people used to rent their TV sets. Caribbean says, I learned this the other day, or you say I learned. A man who transitions legally can take 13 weeks a year to change their body. However, a woman who has breast cancer has to take annual leave. What does that mean? Is that a transition person could actually stop working and get benefits? Who said journalist has to be objective? They have to be objective as a journalist because a journal has to be objective in theory. Do you use a U.S. dictionary or an English dictionary? It's on the computer. I don't even own a dictionary anymore. When was the last dictionary you saw? I remember when you used to be able to get them at those shops and pay like £1 for them. Lee J asks. Anyway, mental. It's mental. Oh, radio rental equals mental. Thank you, Lee G. I did not know that. Thank you, Maltese Phil. Radio rental. Thank you very much. It's rhyming slag, says Kermit. Thank you. Got that wrong. Kerm said they took it away, Joe Sanders to Rubin. Farage owes him an apology for various accusations. Yeah, they just dragged on the guy because he's a working class guy also. And look what they say about Farage, too. And he's not a working class guy. I don't even know what he is. Mental Scottish slang, radio rental. I did not know that. I thought maybe it's okay. Dame Claire. Tommy does get both sides of a story. He always gives the other side the right to reply. In all his documentary, he does this. But that's, he's coming up with an answer to the question. He knows the answer to the question before he makes the documentary. It could be great documentaries. It's similar to Who's the guy in America who did the thing about waiting for Columbine, or the one about Ford, one about the Detroit Motors, and then the one about whatever the guns thing is the same one. I heard someone being called that guy's East Ham, meaning he's halfway to barking. Maltese Phil says that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Lewis, check out Pete and Boss drill. Pete and Boss drill. Pete and Boss drill. Pete and Boss drill. I don't know. Mucking Fentel, says Carrie B. Surely you found at least one dictionary in the park. Nah, people don't even throw out books anymore. Only get a free TV license over 75 if they get pension credits. Yeah, well, I mean, I think they should get they shouldn't get a free TV license. They shouldn't be paying for it. GB News could get sued by Tommy Robinson with backup from Elon. Why? What did they say? I haven't seen Panorama by Tommy. No. What is that? One stop from Dagenham is barking, meaning crazy. That's very funny. Enjoying tube. Do the blind still get a discount? Laugh out loud. It's a panodrama, Tommy. Panodrama, Tommy. I think Trump will sue the BBC. I hope so too. For lying. And let people know how bad the BBC is. But once they go to court, it can't be discussed. It can't be discussed openly. Michael Moore bowling for Columbine's Karen B. Yeah, is he a journalist? Is Michael Moore a journalist? No. You want to call himself a journalist, but he's not a journalist. If you're blind, they give you a discount. Well, you listen to the TV. We should have a prayer for the blind. Absolutely fantastic how he turned the hit piece around on John Sweeney. I'm not familiar with that either. I want to apologize to you people. I should know more. How about the bright? That's a bit too bright. I found here's a lamp. I got a lamp. I got so much stuff here that I find. It's almost like a charity shop. I've got so much stuff here. So there are no journalists. Yeah, there are no journalists because all the people that they work for all have an agenda. And if you have an agenda, how could you be a journalist? And journalists is a nice way to give scum a bit of respect. And journalists are they're in this country, they're like not even educated. In America, at least they go to university, they go to Columbia or Harvard or something, and they get paid a top dollar. Here they're like working class stiffs. I know, because I fought to save English people's graves in the Camberwell Old Cemetery and in Camberwell New Cemetery. And we had lots of journalists come down, and they all lied. They all said, ooh, and they all had an agenda. Journalism was never objective. Whoever told you it was lied, Lee G. But it was supposed to be objective. They say, I'm a journalist. I haven't made up my own mind yet. I'm here to find out the truth and to present your side of the truth. And I've read enough articles. There's been enough. You Google Lewis Schaffer cemeteries, and there's always an article. And it's always the very last paragraph, the very last. You could see, sometimes they were on our side. But a lot of times they weren't. And it was just fraud. A lot of them were good. I'm going to tell you something, like Southwark News, excellent. I mean, we're blessed to have Southwark News. And the Long Island, whatever it is, the Southwark Press was also good, or whatever, South London Press, what was it called? They were good. Lewis, here's a thought. Nunhead Knick-Knack Store. A knick-knack store. Yeah, do you remember knick-knack stores? Yeah. I mean, they didn't have one in America, but I can imagine with them. With all sorts of stuff. What do you think? I'm thinking about maybe just setting up a table outside. Mainly scheming, mediocre hacks. A lot of the hacks, all journalists have an agenda set out by their individual employers. Totally true. And it's happening in America. Look what happened with CNN. CNN is being bought by the people who now own CBS. And CBS is owned by the Ellison family. So they're changing. They're not as left-wing as they are. And you see them attacking Mandami because they know they got a new boss in town. They got a new boss. So journalists are people who lie about being objective. Tommy admits his bias, such as it is. Yeah, he's a bit more objective, but he calls himself a journalist, so you think he's not biased. But he is biased. I'm biased. We're all biased. Everyone is biased. He's maybe better because he's not working for anybody. But, so I support what he's doing, but it's not journalism. And you shouldn't say he's a journalist. So he's as much of a journalist as anyone, yes. But journalists are scum. So why would you say I'm a journalist? He's less of a journalist because we know he's not objective. Whereas sometimes when somebody comes in from the Times or from the Telegraph or from the Mirror and you think, oh, they're not objective. They're objective. They work for the Mirror. They work for the Express, and they're not. Or like in America, never watch the BBC, says Janet, and she doesn't have a license. Yes. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about Tommy Robinson. He's a citizen journalist. There's no such thing. You have to work for a journal in order to be a journalist. And since the journals are scum, you read the New York Times. I grew up on the New York Times. The New York Times is the newspaper that the richer people in New York read. The richer people, whatever, the middle class people. And because if you were poor, you read the Daily News. And there were maybe 10 or 15 other newspapers like that. And I used to read and I used to think this is the truth. It's the New York Times. It's the newspaper of record. They wouldn't lie to you. And then you find out that the New York Times are scum liars. Scum liars, as Donald Trump calls them, fake news. You don't want to believe it. When the truth is found to be lies, when all that's in you dies, don't you want somebody to love? That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay, there you go. He got there in the end. What did I say in the end? Tommy is a citizen journalism, facilitated by the new tech of today's world. No, he is not a journalist. He is a revolutionary. He is a political leader. He is a nationalist, whatever you want to call him, but don't call him a journalist. A person, he's saying I'm a journalist so he can get out of, so he can maybe manipulate the people, but he isn't. It originally wrote a personal journal. No, it didn't mean that. I don't think it meant that. It didn't mean that. It meant you worked for a journal, a newspaper, a journal. Lucy Van Pelt is here. Big round of applause for Lucy Van Pelt. That's what makes you think he doesn't work for anyone. He gets funding. Yes. So that makes it even worse. If it was his own money, if it was his own money, you could say, well, it's his own money. But it isn't his own money. So who knows if he's being bought and paid? I don't think he's being bought and paid. He's a revolutionary. He's a political leader. He's fighting for this country. I hope. You don't want him working for Elon Musk. And so Elon Musk says, this is what we're doing now. And he goes, okay. And that's what I see with the journalists. I am anti-journalists. I'm anti-journalist. There are lots of good people out there, like all those people who work for the NHS. They're not trying to kill people or harm people, but they have a boss who's paying their salary. All those people who want to work for the BBC, and then they use the term, women who are pregnant, and then they get penalized. It tells everybody who works for the BBC, you work for us, we tell you what to say. That's what it is. So that's what I'm saying. BBCs are not journalists. They're campaigners. Exactly right. But everybody who works for a journal is a campaigner. Some are campaigning to keep the status quo, basically. Did you ever use Ayers Bakery, Lewis? Who makes you laugh past and present? Those are two questions, Joy. I don't go to Ayers Bakery because I don't go to bakers. But I mean, it's quite good, Ayers Bakers. It's famous. It's one of the few there are a few places in Nunhead which are famous. Nunhead Cemetery, Ayers Baker. There's a fish joint there too. What is the dictionary definition, Lee G? The left always redefines words. Journals can also be freelance. So we are all journalists. As we write on here, we all have an equal opinion. No, we are not journalists. We all have an opinion. An opinion. And if we write for a journal, we have their opinion, or they're trying to give us their opinion. And even if they're not giving us their opinion, we have our own opinion. You too broadcast yourself. Yeah, we're broadcasters. We can call ourselves broadcasters. Why don't we just call ourselves broadcasters? But we're not broadcasters because we're not trying to set up something that's objective. We're trying to I'm expressing my opinion about this country, about Tommy Robinson, about whatever. Independent journalist Lewis. No, there's no such thing as an independent journalist. It's saying, I'm an independent slave. Imagine being called an independent slave. That doesn't make sense. Janet, that doesn't make sense. So Judels comes in and says, you do realize that if there were no journalist, we would be told nothing at all. What does that mean? Told nothing? I'm telling you something. You've told me something. Judels, you're telling us something. Let's say there was no newspapers tomorrow morning, no newspapers. We wouldn't get any news. Let's say there was no internet tomorrow. We wouldn't get any news. What does that mean, Judels? That doesn't make sense. A lot of his own money goes into what he does. Elon paid for the lawyer's fees the last couple of times. Tommy used to work for Rebel News. Yeah, but what is Rebel News? Is that a journal? No, that's a political organization. You know what? Come on, let's get going here. I don't know how you can disagree with me. I'm not expressing myself, but I know that Lucy's going to say, I can't talk to you anymore because you said this. That's what Lucy's going to say. She's going to get all mad at me like she did yesterday. Why are you mad at me? Kicking you off at Villa Park. Well, I mean, really. Okay. All dictionaries say journalists were originally people who kept their own journals. Okay, so they kept their own journals. So am I a journalist? I have journals that I kept. That's not what a journalist is today. And that's when they don't mean that when he's using that term. Freelance slaves exist. You can charge good money for that. Yes. We're all slaves. But that's what freelance journalism is. It's a lie, a lie, a lie. We need to get information on our own. We need to call ourselves up. I need to say, Judels, what is going on? And she says, oh, like, you know what it is? I'll tell you something about the trans issue. I wasn't that passionate about it, but I am now because of Judels. We form our opinions from information, Lewis. Yes, we wouldn't ever have any news. Any news? What is the news? Do you think the BBC is the news? BBCs are lying scum. Are they the news? I shouldn't talk like this because I'm a visitor in this country. You know, but there would be news. Of course, you don't need a weatherman to tell to know which way the wind blows. Let's go to that. Let's go to that. You don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. Okay, Let's Subterranean Homesick Blues lyrics. Let's look for the lyrics for that. What a great song. What a great song. I know a lot of you people don't like Dylan, but I like Dylan. Let's go look. Let's go look at that. That's what you should think about. You don't need the BBC to get the news. There's no BBC tomorrow. What, there's no news? You'll say to me, Lewis, did you hear what happened? It's like that old joke. It's like the joke. Let's see what's going on here. It's like that joke. Let's read it. You don't need, it's from Bob Dylan's 1965 Subterranean Homesick Blues. It means that people don't need an authority figure to tell them the truth about their situation. They can and should figure things out for themselves by paying attention. That's what the news is. You do not need to be told by the BBC or Tommy Robinson. And I'd like to be told by Tommy Robinson, but he is not a newsman. Sorry. I'm sorry for saying that. Am I insulting him? I hope I'm not insulting him because I like Tommy Robinson. I like him more every day. Leaked BBC document shows that LGBT desk has been taken over by pro-trans mafia enforcing trans dogma across all departments. Yes, the BBC is a scam and they're scum and they hate, they're communists, Lucy. So Lucy Van Pelt is right. Something happens with trans people. Let's find out what the BBC desk says. Let's find out what they say. Cambridge Dictionary says today it means a person who writes news stories or articles for a newspaper or a magazine or broadcasts them on radio or television. Yes, that's what people believe it really means. Lee G. It's what people believe that. But who owns that newspaper? Who's in control of that newspaper? Okay, what is that newspaper wanting us to believe? Right, mass hysteria, no internet tomorrow. Reverse that. Let's say there's no internet tomorrow. What would happen? You'd call me up. You'd find out my number. You'd come knock on my door. Lewis, what's the story? We'd be out in the street with a speaker saying, we're not falling for this. You won't even write a Substack once a week. I should do that. Who told? Yeah, that's what what's his name said. That's what what's his name said. Let me get another pen. Where is a pen? Here's a pen. Here's a pen. You know what? This is show 148. I've done 148. Not 148. It's 160, 70, close to 175 shows. It's amazing. It's amazing that we've done this thing. Is this journalism, everybody? I don't even know if you're liking the show. I can't tell if you're liking it. Let me go see how many people are watching. 29, 30 people are watching. Let's just say 29. All right, doing very well. Okay. So that's what Lucy. So what is Lucy saying about? Nothing about objectivity in the definition of a journalist. Yeah, because they changed the definition. It's supposed to be objective. Donald Trump. He was the one who looked at his audience or whatever those people were in the I'm going to have to lower this thing. So it's a bit too bright. And he looked at the audience. He said to the New York Times, "You're fake news. You're fake news." I thought to myself, oh my God, he's right. He's right. Not the New York. That's what it blew my mind. When he looked at CBS and he said, "You are a bunch of fake news people," and NBC. And then he laughed at the BBC. Did you see him laughing at the BBC? It's a joke. This country is becoming a joke. A joke. The BBC, oh, it's amazing. The BBC is amazing. It's not. It's the worst thing. It's the second worst thing in this country. The NHS. Hasn't made anybody's life better. I don't know. Why are you always accusing me of being mad at you? Because you are always mad at me, Lucy. Lucy's always mad at me. She's like always mad at me because she thought I was defending Jimmy Savile and what's his name, and the other guy, and what's his name? I was defending them all. I wasn't defending them, but you always accuse me of saying. Excuse me. Now you're talking out of your ass about Tommy Robinson as a journalist. He identifies as one, so he is one by that. He's a journalist. He identifies as that. Yeah, which is bull. You don't want to be called. You don't want to call yourself a journalist. It used to have such respect. It's like people that call themselves doctors, and you go, "Oh, he's a doctor. My son, the doctor. Oh, he knows something. He knows. He's a doctor." But they killed us. They've been killing us, doctors. I have no respect. My God, I'm like too much. Yeah, I'm gonna get banned from this country. I'm gonna get banned. I want to apologize to you people. I shouldn't. Well, I got a wire under my chair. You know. The respect. I don't. Please stop yelling. Sorry. Am I yelling? Is it too loud? Is it too loud, everybody? Maybe it's too loud. Sorry. It's not too loud. But you know what? This is what happened to me. I don't respect anymore. I don't respect your degree, your medical degree. I don't respect that you write for the #1 newspaper in the #1 place in the #1 country. I don't respect that anymore. I don't respect that you're Mother Teresa and you think you're saving lives. I don't respect that you spoke in front of the United Nations warning about climate change, telling me. I don't respect that. You have to prove it. I respect you people, the people that I know and I've spoken to for 175 days, more than somebody who comes up to me and says, I'm a doctor. What do you mean about not needing eyeglasses, how you fixed your eyes, Lewis? I don't believe that, and I'm a doctor. What medical school did you go to? This is how doctors talk. I work for the NHS. I go, and I just like, you got to turn your head. You can't say, well, the NHS does a lot of good stuff, but you have to prove it to me. You have to prove it to me. Yeah, I've been in the UK. I've been 25 straight years, except for a couple of visits to other places. I've lost my place here. But Lucy always wants to know, I'm accusing you. I don't feel like I get enough love from Lucy. I don't. I mean, she's got maybe it's the Northern Irish thing. It could be a bit scary, you know? Northern Irish people are a bit scary. I saw a video of trans fighting with immigrants in Manchester the other night. I wonder what the far left would make of that or whose side they would come down on. Yeah, that's a problem. That is a problem. They hate each other. I mean, one is the last gasp of the world we live in today. And the next is the future for the country, which is a return to Neanderthalism. There will be mass riots when the internet goes down, Lewis. In a heartbeat, says Joodles, nothing will work. You won't have any money. You won't be able to buy any food or go anywhere. It will be Armageddon. Do you know what, Joodles? You're probably right. But we would still have news. You'd go out in the street and said, what have you heard? Tell me what you've heard. So that's not the point that I was making, but it's a good point. We're all going to die. And make sure we leave enough time for us to say prayers for this country, for ourselves, for our families, for our parents, for our children, for our friends. We need to say prayers. There's always an interesting question, Kemi. They'll go, okay, whichever one has more men. Yeah, well, look at what the trans thing is. How can we support transism? Because the left are liars. They're absolute liars. It's all about lying. It's like we're going to live in one world and we're all alike and we all care about each other and all that. And we just need a good communist regime. It hasn't been done right. It's just lies. Mass riots. That's why I have stacks of rice and baked beans. Yeah, it could be, yes. Yeah, it can be very scary. And you know what? Somebody asked me about that saying that I say. It goes very slowly and then it happens all at once. It's like, how did you go bankrupt? Very slowly. And then suddenly it happened all at once. Okay, I'm going to stop yelling. I'm going to stop yelling. I'm going to stop yelling. There has never been a requirement for journos to be objective. It'd be great, but not possible. No, they're supposed to be objective. The Guardian comes in and asks a question of the President of the United States, and then they scam it. The President is answering the question as objectively as possible, as he knows how to, and then they write whatever they want to write. No, they're supposed to be objective. They're supposed to be objective. Okay, what happened here? If Tommy was any good at all, you'd have heard him during C9. Nothing, not a peep. What's he saying on digital ID? Nothing again. He's no good. Interesting question, says Don Aylesbury. Yeah, I mean, you don't hear me saying things about everything that I say things about, because if I do, you yell at me. I get yelled at. Lucy says, have you heard the Oval Office sign Trump has put up outside the Oval Office? I mean, on the outside of the White House. It's so tacky. Yeah, it could be tacky. He's tacky. So what? Are you gonna unelect him because he's tacky? And the next president can take it down. He tore down the Rose Garden. I'm against that totally. Tommy was against that. What was he against, Ron Smith? Yeah, I think we can be open and honest here. I think I am saying things that you might not hear other places. Is it good for me? I'm not sure it's good. It's going to help me, but you can say whatever you want to say. You can disagree with me. No, Lewis, no. Whatever. Tommy was against that. What was Tommy against? Blair should be the vaccine czar. Is that what Farage said? Because British people are scared to death for like hundreds of years, and they have to be on their best behavior by doing everything right. So they're afraid of saying the wrong thing. Am I right? Am I right about that? Am I right? I'm sure Tommy, says Stewart, has some T-shirts and beanie hats to sell to gullible people. I've been told to mind my blood pressure. Thank you very much. I saw the podcast at the time, didn't you? Nobody spoke out about the whatchamacallit, about C19 as COVID-19, the lie that is COVID-19, the lie that is germs, the lie that is vaccines, the lie. This chair is not. I'm gonna have to fix this chair. I don't know why it's this way. Maybe there's something in the thing here. Don't go on. Look at that. Wait, I got this thing sticking up here, but you don't want to notice. You don't want to notice that. I'd like to be a nudist. I'd like to be nude. So when they show the newspapers of Lewis Schaffer me being nude, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna go, that's so shocking. I'm so shocking. No, I'd love it. I've never been a nudist, really. Robinson tweeted on 26 September, quote, "You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have a digital ID. It's as simple as that." Yeah, so he did speak out against it. He's paid opposition. Surely you can see that. Well, perhaps that's true. Everybody's accused of being paid opposition. As if you just got your pants out. Yeah, no, they didn't. Because they're not like tight pants. They're whatchamacallit. They're boxer pants. Dinner time, gotta go. Don't say, listen, Lee G, you were brilliant. Let's give Lee G a round of applause. He was brilliant, fighting for what he believes in the journalism thing. But the truth is, you'd never have to say you need to go. Everybody just goes and will come back. Goes and will come back. Next, she'll say, he's probably paid by Mossad. Yes. Yeah, that's how they undermine you. They say you're a Jew, you've been paid by Mossad or something like that. No one can ever just be like just evil. They have to be paid by Mossad. Okay, anyway. So MG Tiger Fang is here. They'll hand them out to illegals without having them go through the same process as everyone else. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can't trust those people with their ID cards. You know they're lying. Who doesn't think that the Labor government are not lying about everything? Who doesn't think that? Who thinks that they're actually telling the truth? They're liars. And the same thing with the Tories. They're liars. Politicians generally are liars. Anyway, sorry to change the subject, but Pauline Collins just died, 85. I don't know. What a great actress. Who is Pauline Collins? Who is that? I don't know who that is. Who is that? Should I Google that? I guess I'm going to have to Google that. Is that the name? Pauline Collins? I never even heard of that name. Pauline Collins. Pauline Collins? She's a British actress. That's her. Okay. She's 85. She's Upstairs Downstairs. Spin-off. Upstairs Downstairs was a British actress. That was broadcast in America, Upstairs Downstairs. She published her autobiography. She was born in 1940. She has 3 kids. People had kids back in the day. She was a something. Okay, thank you very much. Upstairs, Downstairs. That was it. Whoops, you didn't see that. Sorry. Here we go. That's what she looked like. Can you see that, everybody? Can you see that, everybody? So what was this chat about? This chat was about it was about journalism. And I would like to say that my view is a bit extreme, that there's no such thing as journalists. And if you do call yourself a journalist, you're basically saying you're scum, is refreshing. Would you say that's true? Minder. I don't think that. I never saw a Minder. Yeah, it's sad when an old, but people, 85. It's a good age. I think 85 is the right age for people to die at. People that live till 90, they look horrible. Like, have you seen Dick Van Dyke? It's really, your body just goes really bad. Really bad. I'm with you, says Vatnai, speaking to Don Aylesbury. People have to be very cautious about who they follow and build up to be heroes, Vatnai says. Yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, I think I'm pretty careful. I'm not even, like I say about Donald Trump. He's the greatest, but he's wrong about stuff, Lewis. She was totally great, married to her co-star John Alderton. They met on Upstairs Downstairs, and then they had 4 kids. That's what people used to do. They used to fall in love at work. Now they go on the internet and they fall in love with Lewis Schaffer, an internationally famous TV comedian, basically. And internationally, by the end of Parliament, if a man is still alive, she married by the end. By the end of this Parliament, if a man is still alive, what does that mean? She married John Alderton from Please Sir fame. So am I called Box Hill Lewis? Why? Because I've been to Box Hill many times. Why am I called Box Hill Lewis? I mean, she was there. All right, let's work on our prayer. Are you ready to say our prayers? people, whether you believe in God or not. We're going to say a prayer. Maybe there is a God, maybe there isn't a God. Let's say we don't believe in God. We're just, there's lots of benefits for saying a prayer. And there's lots of benefits that even if we don't believe in God, maybe there is a God. Maybe he will listen, or she will listen to us. Maybe God means something else than the way we're thinking about it. But we need a prayer to God. I employ objectiveness, says Don Aylesbury. That's how you reach the truth. I like this Oxford Union. I like his Oxford Union speech, and was with him Panadrama, but now no way I can see Tommy Robbins for what he really is. Yeah, well, you take a look at someone like Donald Trump. I mean, I didn't trust him, and he's proven trustworthy. So maybe at some point in the future, who else is there? That's the question. Who's going to fight for this country? Maybe that's what we should say a prayer for. Okay. The thumbprint to this show is we I don't think any other show says a prayer like we're saying a prayer. Who was the sitcom actress in Just Good Friends? Okay. Where the father in it had cancer in real life and they canceled that show. Okay, so here's my prayer. Dear loving and beautiful Lord, we, your people, are overcome with worry. We are seeing our country change. The people in our country not admit that it's changing, and definitely not doing something about it. We don't ask for anything from you, our Lord. We only want to thank you for letting us see the truth, which is something that you, our Lord, sends to us. We also want to thank you for helping us get through this day, knowing that we have the strength to do what we need to do. So, dear Lord, thank you. Thank you, dear Lord. We're not used to this prayer thing, most of us. I haven't made a prayer in decades. Because we've been told we can handle everything ourselves. But it is only with God's help, with your help, that we get the strength to be able to handle life, to know that all of the worries that we feel right now about ourselves, our friends, our family, our town, our country, has been sent for a reason. We may not understand that reason. We may not understand why the people, our people, why we are so scared. What good could it lead to? But maybe, but we thank you for sending this to us and for the benefits that we will feel. Thank you. Amen. What do you think? Did I miss anything on that? Is there anything you want me to answer? Anything you want me to make a prayer about? Amen. Amen. Maybe Rod could make a prayer. Maybe you could write it down and I'll read it. I feel a bit tearful as my mom was a huge Pauline Collins fan, and we went to Corfu several years ago, and she emulated Shirley Valentine drinking wine by the sea moment. In so much, that's what Joe says. It's sad when somebody like that, they're like our grandparents or our parents. In so much as it has pleased the Almighty God to grant unto us, Lewis, may we be guided by his infinite wisdom and gentle mind to be loyal and productive disciples. Not to God. We're saying this not, to God. Amen. 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 All right, everybody. So this has been a really good show. Has this been? I don't know whether it's been a good show. Has it been a good stream? Have we left anything out? Have we left anything out? Have we left anything out? Amen, Keith Bexley. Give us the strength. Give us the strength. That's what we need to praise the Lord, to give us the strength to not be weakened by all of the evil that we see in the world today. There's a lot of evil in the world. Maybe I'm part of that evil. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not part of the evil. But there's a lot of evil in the world. When they basically tell a woman, we're going to fire you unless you say pregnant person. You can't even say pregnant woman. That's evil. Okay? When they don't let another country's football team come and watch the game because they're Jews or they support Israel, even though they, whatever. That's evil. When they let people come into the country without checking who they are, and then those people do really bad things, creating an atmosphere of fear. Thank you, Joe Sanders. That's evil. When they take our money and then propagandize us, that's evil. There's so much evil going on, and we need strength. Strength to believe that, do we not? I think we do. Maybe we need a choir. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need to return to Christianity. Not me, but you guys need to return to it to give us the strength that we need. Maybe we need to go to church. Maybe I need to go to church. Maybe I need to go to church to support you guys going to church. Basically. And Keith Bexley says it's evil, but good people are noticing it. Well, that's that old saying. In order for evil to win, good people need to do nothing. I don't know, that's not the direct quote, but that's sort of like it is. Rianne is here. Hello, Rianne. Yeah. I mean, they want Israel to be our enemy when Israel is at the front lines of fighting the threat to this country. Lewis. Shirley Valentine's. I'll write that down, Joe. Joe suggests I write that down. Okay, there you go. The state-sponsored terrorism and psyops that they are conducting is pure evil. Yes, it's against their own people. It's against you and us. It's against our own people so that we're living in fear. Are we less afraid today than yesterday? No, we're not. We're more afraid. Do you know the hymn? No. I've never seen that film. Shirley Robinson. I should see it. It came out. When did it come out? In the 1980s or 90s? I don't remember when that was. Yeah, we need to fight evil. So let me just everybody. I know I have not mentioned this, but make sure we like the stream. It's so important that we like it. It's the simplest thing you can do. If you don't do that, if you can't like the stream and you've been here the entire time, then you've got to reevaluate yourself. Okay? I want to thank Janet. Like the stream. I want to thank. I want to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Also, you can send some. You can make a Ko-fi contribution to the stream or a PayPal to the stream. Thank you, Ron Smith, Lee G. Thank you, Dame Claire. Thank you, Ruben, and Enjoying the Tube, and Joe Sanders. Thank you. Thank you for all of this. Thank you, Lucy Van Pelt. Thank you. Who else? Who else is here? Who else is here? Thank you, Maltese Phil. Thank you, Janet. Thank you. Of course, Hi-Ho Kermit has always been amazing. Carrie B and Stewart, Lee G again, MG Tiger Fang. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Donna Aylesbury. If I forget your name for whatever reason, write in the bottom, Lewis, what about me? And I will think about you and I'll read it aloud. Vatanai. I'm gonna miss some people. Alex. Just make sure I don't want to miss any of you. I don't want to miss any of you. We have hope. We have hope. We have hope. We're gonna provide our own news. You want to ask me what's going on? I'm saying I saw this happen. And that is news. Okay? I'm not going to rely on the Times or the Telegraph or the Express or the Guardian or the BBC or even GB News to tell me which way the wind blows. Go to Twitter. Go to Twitter. Make sure you're on Twitter so we can find out when we're on Twitter. We're going to see you at 10:30 tonight. Will you come tonight? Where's my steak? What kind of steak? Do you want a steak? I would feed you a steak. Anybody comes to my house, I offer them a steak. I mean, it's not the most expensive cut of steak, but it's beef. It's raw, red, uncooked beef. It's not even warm. If you report the news, you're a journalist. No, 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 because then it's opinion. All news is opinion. Quotes from Shirley Valentine. What are you saying? Thank you, Joodles. I didn't even thank Joodles. And Lucy Van Pelt, of course, I'm thanking her again. I have to thank her because she might get mad at me. You might relate to the part where her husband is pissed and he's got egg and chips for dinner instead of steak, says Lewis. But she didn't serve him a good meal. You know, that's how women used to punish their men. They used to come home from working. Where's my dinner? And then no dinner. And that's how you know there's no more love. I'm just going to cook my steak now, says Reuben. A cooked steak is still better than a bowl of salad. I do believe that. So thank you for this. Thank you, MC Scott. MC Scott, the thumbnail was from MC Scott today. So thank you very much, MC Scott, for making the thumbnail. He jabs his finger in the egg yolk. What does that mean? That it was runny? I eat only runny eggs. I try not to eat cooked eggs. And I used to eat egg salad all the time with mayonnaise. That's not healthy. I don't think that's healthy. You're an opinionated journalist. No, you're not. You're not a journalist. There is no such thing as that. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Do I sound wrong? Maybe I'm just being dominant. To be a journo, you have to have been to journo college to get a qualification. Yeah, but then you leave and you follow your boss. Your boss says, say this, and you say that. You say this. Woe unto those who call evil good and good evil. Our government are like this. Woe unto those who call evil good. That's such a good point, Fontenay. Thank you for being here. But that's so true. And there's evil going on, and they think they're doing a great thing. And that man, Keir Starmer, your prime minister, you know, maybe he'll end up in prison or something. Lewis, he treated her like SHI and suddenly thought, right, I'm doing something totally different. And well, I do believe that. I believe in love. I believe we need to love each other. And I think I've been way more loving to people than I have been. A thumbnail, not a thumbprint. My bad. So Box Hill. What does Box Hill mean? I've been to Box Hill many times. Boris Johnson was a journalist at my local newspaper. He reported on local politics. He was not a journalist. He wrote for for an independent, whatever you call it. I even forget what I called it myself. He hates us, Boris Johnson. He wants us dead. Eugenics. It's a nice way of saying you means good. Good killing. Good killing. Good killing. Horrible. I'm against that. I'm against eugenics, totally. They should kill the doctors. He does hate us. Okay, so this has been our show. I want to thank everybody for listening. Send some money. Make sure, most important thing, make sure you like the stream. And then if you have a couple of extra pounds, you could do that. Anything else? Am I forgetting anything? Carrie? He was born in New York. Lots of good people were born in New York, and lots of bad people were born in New York too. I'll speak to you later. God bless you all, and keep on praying. Okay, I'm gonna